In this lecture, I'm going to teach you architecture of .NET application. This is very important lecture. If you require, you need to read twice or thrice to understand more information we are going to discussing now about .NET application developments. See, before going to discussing about .NET application architecture, you have no more components. These all the components we are going to integrate each other. By doing this, we will complete a successful application development using .NET framework. So here, about application. Building blocks of classes collaborate each other, result create an application. How the diagram is going to be representing here the classes. Each class may or may not interact, and having many classes will create. To making all together, we are working with a language to calling which function or which class we require to use to integrating all together will be called as application. What is class? And earlier we have seen about classes to be integrating. What is class? See, a class is a container and has some data with attribute and functions, and also called is methods. See, the functions and methods are very similar. Most cases you will be learn these words, and this we are going to be discussing more and more about on advanced programs like C# advanced lectures. And here you may observe this. If I define a simple car class, the class may consist of car. What is car? And what is make? What is model? What is color of this car? And the car functionalities like a start, move, stop, and brake. The accelerator. How I am going to instructing a particular car using automation. All these functionality I make a write independently one by one as a methods or functions or independent classes I make. This all we are making together in specifying a class name called car. So in different functionalities, as we understand, like we are defining a specific requirement based classes we are going to be writing in our programming. So whenever we require a specific program, based on that class, we'll call it and we'll use the functionality. See, the namespaces. What is namespace? And why we require to use this namespace? See here, namespace is a container of related classes. We have a specific functionality wise we are going to preparing a classes. In an instance of class car example we have discussed. Similarly here by default we are getting many namespaces and many classes and many functionality which is already available in .NET framework. See, for instance of examples, if we are going to be interacting with the database functionality, like a data to establish a database connection and communicating with the database, with the tables to insert the data or getting the data or updating the data, modifying, all these all will be very simple and easily the functionality to establish a connection. What is this simple functionality is available? Yes, the drivers may require, and to communicate the communication establishment is required to interact with the database. All our ready-made libraries are available. See, the namespace for a database. Yes, the database functionality which is available. How to interact with this functionality and how to make the custom program we should learn. Before going to interacting and utilizing these namespaces, we should know the basic of core, the language, how it is going to be interacting with these libraries and writing the functionalities. See, the many namespaces are available like databases, namespace for services, and namespace for IO components. Yeah, IO components means like input and output devices of a computer system. Like my mouse is there, keyboard is there, screen is there, and any of USB components we are going to be integrating, like attaching to our computer system, which is called IO devices. To interact these, like we require any like a communication or a functionality. Yes, there's IO namespace, IO components which is already available ready-made, and namespace for web tools, web services, code logic which we are going to be implementing. Yes, we can also prepare by the classes, and we can make it commonly. We have a custom namespaces as well. And see, the namespaces can be created assembly, which is called DLL or exe file. DLL is dynamic linking library, and exe, that executable file. Application is a combination. Earlier I have shown you the different type of classes. Yes, by integrating this all the classes, we are telling like it's a namespace. See, these namespaces can be created an assembly, a group of namespaces. By ending of the product, we are taking as an output. An application we are creating means all these assembly 1, assembly 2, assembly 3, so on assemblies we are going to making an integration with application. Which assembly is going to be having which functionality? Yes, making multiple namespaces, we make it as an assembly. See, from the classes to namespaces, namespaces to assembly, assembly to application. This way the program will go from like a bottom to top level to reach the application development successfully. Why it is approached this way? To make and reuse the functionality of the code lines repeatedly where we require to use. We are trying to like the main concept and objective is to avoid writing a duplicate code again and again. In a manner of either class or DLL or assembly, we can reuse this assembly anywhere, which is going to be having a facility to integrate the application. So the basic sample namespaces, how we are going to be writing and integrating into our program, like a C# program, using this keyword, using system. It's a one of that namespace. All the system components will be interact and integrated over here, all the classes, and using system.collections.generic, using system.link with the terminator of a semicolon of every line it is required, and using system.web, using system.web.mvc if we are using MVC components, model, system.data.entity. These all are example scenario I am going to provide it here. On line number 6, you may observe that MVC underscore CRUD app.models means it's a custom namespace what we have created. So I hope you enjoyed a lot about to understanding about architecture of .NET application. We'll sit and we'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you.